Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Welcome, dear devotees, to this special video presentation on 64 limbs of Krishna Bhakti. My name is Hari Parshad Das. I am thankful to my friend Venu Govind Prabhu, who kindly requested me to record some videos on devotional topics such as the Bhakti-rasamrita-sindhu, and I am thankful to my brother-in-law Devakrishna Prabhu, who kindly recorded this video for me. This is Hari Parshad Das, and today I wish to speak to all of you regarding 64 limbs of Krishna Bhakti. But before I begin, I would like to perform auspicious invocations, that is Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namaha Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shri Shri Radha Damodarau Jayataha. Hare Krishna. Welcome once again, dear devotees, to this special presentation on 64 limbs of Krishna Bhakti. I would like to begin this particular presentation from Srila Rupa Goswami's Bhakti-rasamrita-sindhu with a quote from Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Uvacha. In all, there are 64 items listed for the rendering of service unto Krishna, and these are the regulative principles enjoined in the Shastras and given by the spiritual master. One has to serve Krishna according to these regulative principles, but if one develops spontaneous love of Krishna as exhibited in the activities of those who live in Vrajabhumi, one attains the platform of Raga Anuga Bhakti. This is from the purport to Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, 8th chapter, verse number 221. So, Srila Prabhupada here is explaining to us about the 64 items which are known as 64 angas or limbs of bhakti, which are specified in Srila Rupa Goswami's Bhakti-rasamrita-sindhu. Today, I wish to discuss with you these 64 limbs of Uttama-Bhakti, Sadhana-bhakti, as given in the Bhakti-rasamrita-sindhu. Dear devotees, before we begin this, a question arises in our mind. The first question is, who is eligible for executing these 64 limbs of Uttama Bhakti? What is the eligibility of a person before they start executing these limbs of Uttama Bhakti? So the answer will be given by Srila Rupa Goswami himself. Srila Rupa Goswami in the Bhakti-rasamrita-sindhu has very clearly given the answer as follows. Shastratah shruyate bhaktau nrimatrasyadhikarita. Srila Rupa Goswami says, Shastratah shruyate. It is heard from the Shastras. It's a very important point. Srila Rupa Goswami never speaks something which is not from Shastra. The most important pramana, the most important proof for Srila Rupa Goswami in his books is Shastra Pramana, or the proof of Vedic literature. So Srila Rupa Goswami says, Shastratah shruyate. It is heard from Shastras. What is it heard? Bhaktau, that in the domain of bhakti, nrimatrasya adhikarita. The eligibility is of all human beings. This is the translation. Through Shastra, Vedic scriptures, it is heard that all humans have eligibility for executing Uttama Bhakti. So, Srila Rupa Goswami has used the term Bhaktau in the original verse, which refers simply to Bhakti. But the entire Bhakti-rasamrita-sindhu is centered not simply around Bhakti, but around Uttama Bhakti, or the purest variation of Bhakti. So, since the entire Bhakti-rasamrita-sindhu is within the domain of Uttama Bhakti, therefore this verse is also within the domain of Uttama Bhakti. So all human beings have eligibility for performing Uttama Bhakti. This is the verdict given by Srila Rupa Goswami in the Bhakti-rasamrita-sindhu. It means all human beings can potentially perform Uttama Bhakti. It's not that all of them will be able to perform, because one of the characteristics of Uttama Bhakti is that it is sudurlabha. It is very rarely attained by a human being. So all humans have the potential, but many are not able to realize that potential due to various reasons. So let's move ahead. If a question is asked, how many limbs are there of sadhana bhakti? Are there only 64 limbs that Srila Rupa Goswami has described in the Bhakti-rasamrita-sindhu, or are there more number of limbs? So Srila Rupa Goswami very clearly says in the Bhakti-rasamrita-sindhu, Hari Bhakti Vilasesya Bhakterangani Lakshashah Kintu Tani Prasiddhani Nirdishyante Yathamati. Very clearly he says, Hari Bhakti Vilase, there is a book named Hari Bhakti Vilas. Asya Bhakter, and in that Hari Bhakti Vilas, in relationship to this Bhakti, Uttama Bhakti, Angani Lakshashah, there are lakhs of limbs or angas of Bhakti described there in Hari Bhakti Vilas. Kintu, but Tani Prasiddhani Nirdishyante, amongst those lakhs of limbs, Prasiddhani Nirdishyante, only the most popular ones are being, most prominent ones are being described here. And how are you describing it? Yathamati. He says, according to my own intelligence, I have selected the most prominent ones and I am describing them here. So in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, we will find so many more angas of bhakti. For every Ekadashi, the execution of every Ekadashi is considered as a separate limb of bhakti. The execution of every festival is considered as a separate limb of bhakti. So that's Hari Bhakti Vilas. But here in the Bhakti-rasamrita-sindhu, the most prominent 64 limbs or 64 angas will be described. This is the translation. In the Hari Bhakti Vilas, lakhs of limbs of bhakti are described. However, here I describe only the popular ones according to my intelligence. Now, the term Lakshashah is explained by the commentator named Mukunda Goswami. The commentator Mukunda Goswami says Lakshashah doesn't literally mean lakhs. Lakshashah means Bahuni, means a great number, which may mean thousands or something like that. So, this is the comment of one of the commentators on Bhakti-rasamrita-sindhu named Sri Mukunda Goswami. Now, if it is asked to Srila Rupa Goswami, how do you define one distinct limb or one distinct anga of bhakti? So, Srila Rupa Goswami gives an answer to this. He says, Atra anga lakshanam. Now, characteristics of one unique distinct limb. What are the characteristics? Ashritavaantaraaneka bhedam kevalameva va ekam karmatra vidvadbhir ekam bhaktyangam. He says, Ashrita avantara aneka bhedam. So, he very clearly says, now characteristics of one anga, one limb. So, one is Ashrita avantara aneka bhedam. That act of bhakti which includes various sub-acts. So, there is one category, one limb which may include various sub-limbs. So, sometimes various sub-limbs are considered as one limb. Or that act which stands alone. Sometimes there are some limbs which don't have any sub-limbs, which stand alone by themselves. So, whether it is a limb anga which has sub-limbs or whether it is a limb which stands by itself, both cases they will be considered as one limb or one anga. Let me clarify this with an example. For example, there is a limb of bhakti called as Shravanam. So, Shravanam means hearing something in relation to the Lord, to his pastimes, to his abode, etc. So, Shravanam has many sub-limbs. Shravanam is one limb, it has many sub-limbs. What are the sub-limbs? Nama Shravan, hearing the names of the Lord. Guna Shravan, hearing the qualities of the Lord. Charitra Shravan, hearing about the characteristics and pastimes of the Lord. So, these are the various sub-limbs, but these are not counted as separate. So, Shravan is one limb, although it has various sub-limbs. This is an example of avantar bhed, a limb which has various sub-limbs. And then there is a limb which has no clear distinct sub-limbs. For example, Guru Padashraya. The first limb is Guru Padashraya, accepting the shelter of the feet of a Guru. Now, there are no sub-limbs in this. It's one activity which is performed once by a sadhak during his or her lifetime. And once that activity is performed, the sadhaka becomes dependent or sheltered under the Guru. There are no clearly, distinctly known sub-activities within this one activity. For this reason, this is a limb of bhakti which stands alone by itself, kevalam. So, both are considered as one limb. Shravanam is one limb, Guru Padashraya is one limb. Both are considered as one limbs. Srila Jiva Goswami explains in the commentary. He says, Ashrita avantar aneka bhedam. He says, there are some limbs which have sub-limbs. He is explaining that. He says, Ashrita iti yatha archanadikam. He gives the example of archan or worship of the deity. Because archan has various sub-limbs. What are the sub-limbs in archan? Offering flowers, offering water, offering a fan. So, there are many sub-limbs in archana. And he says, kevalam. Kevalam means alone angas which don't have any sub-limbs. Atra aspashta swagata bhedam. These are those limbs in which the sub-limbs are unclear. They are not distinct. Yatha, he gives an example, Guru Padashraya. He gives the example that I just spoke, taking shelter of the feet of a Guru. Yatha, and he gives another example, Abhyutthanadicha. For example, rising up when we see a deity of the Lord coming towards us. Sometimes a deity is going in a procession, we have to rise up. So that rising up is one limb of bhakti, it does not have any sub-limbs. Jiva Goswami has given examples of both types of limbs in his commentary. Now, let's move ahead and begin with the 64 limbs of Sadhana-bhakti. Srila Rupa Goswami says, Atha Angani, now the limbs. Guru Padashrayastasmat Krishna Dikshadi Shikshanam Vishrambhena Guroh Seva Sadhu Vartmanuvartanam. So he says very clearly, Rupa Goswami says, Atha Angani. Now the limbs are as follows. First, Guru Padashrayas. First limb of Krishna Bhakti is to accept shelter of the feet of a Guru. Is the first limb amongst the 64 limbs. There are many who say that we can perform bhajan without even having a Guru. But the first thing to do is accepting the shelter of the feet of a Guru. Guru Pad Ashrayas. So, the first and most important limb is established by Srila Rupa Goswami in this way. Some people think we will take shelter of the books of a previous Guru who may not be physically present. But this is comparable to trying to light a lamp through a picture of a lamp. If we want to light a lamp, we need an actual lamp, not a picture of a lamp. Similarly, if we want to start our spiritual life, we need direct physical association of the Guru. So, Guru Padashrayas, we need shelter of the Guru. Tasmat Krishna Dikshadi Shikshanam. And from that Guru, Krishna Dikshadi Shikshanam. The second limb is accepting Shiksha by accepting Diksha from the Guru. So first accept Diksha in Krishna Bhakti, and through that accept Shiksha, personal instructions. Third is Vishrambhena Guroh Seva. Service of the Guru, Guroh Seva, Vishrambhena. Vishrambha means inherent confidence. So with inherent confidence in the heart, without being afraid of the Guru. Vishrambhena Seva. Rendering service with inherent confidence. So this is very important, because many times there are individuals who accept initiation from a Guru but never get the chance to render service to the Guru. So it's very important to render service with confidence to the Guru. And Sadhu Vartma Anuvartanam. Sadhu Vartma. Sadhu means auspicious. Sadhu also means a saintly person. So Sadhu Vartma means an auspicious path, or it can mean a path followed by the previous sadhus. Anuvartanam, to follow in the footsteps of that path. So following the path of the sadhus. Because the sadhus have always followed the path of Shastra or scriptures. So following in the path of sadhus means following in the path of the Shastras. There are many separatists who say that we do not believe in any other sadhu. We only believe in our Guru. For them, it is important to note that following the previous sadhus is extremely important. We cannot neglect the previous sadhus just because we have a very nice Guru. So, the previous sadhus have demonstrated through their behavior the ideal path to follow in one's devotional life. Sadhu Vartma Anuvartanam. Anuvartanam, following in the footsteps of Sadhu Vartma, the path shown by the previous sadhus. This is the fourth limb of Bhakti. Now we will note all these are positive limbs. We must do this, we must do this, we must do this, we must do this. First 10 limbs will be positive limbs. So let's see the next limbs. But before that, there is something, a comment by Srila Jiva Goswami. He comments on the term Krishna Dikshadi Shikshanam. He says, Krishna Dikshadi iti Diksha Purvaka Shikshanam. So when the term Krishna Dikshadi Shikshanam means Diksha Purvaka Shikshanam. First accept Diksha and then accept personal instructions for one's Krishna bhajan. Iti artha. This is the meaning. Then he explains the meaning of the term sadhu vartmanuvartanam. He says sad acharita shruti adi vidhi sevitvam. So sad acharita shruti adi. So the sadhus of the past have acted upon the vidhis or the injunctions given in Shruti, Smriti and other Vedic literature. So sevitvam, to serve those same injunctions given in the Shruti, Smriti, Puranas, etc. Because the previous sadhus have followed that path. Therefore, this is the meaning of sadhu vartmanu vartanam. Now these were the first four. Now moving ahead, Srila Rupa Goswami says, Saddharma prichha bhogadi tyagah krishnasya hetave nivaso dvarakadau cha gangaderapi sannidhau. Srila Rupa Goswami says, fifth is Saddharma prichha. Once somebody gets sheltered under a particular guru, Saddharma prichha, inquiring about bona fide dharma, Saddharma. There are many individuals who get initiated but who never get a chance to ask a single question from their guru. So at least one should have a diksha or shiksha guru from whom one can inquire. Saddharma prichha. Without inquiry, there is no point of moving ahead because one's heart will be riddled with doubts. And without clearing one's doubts from the mouth of a bona fide guru, it is not possible to move ahead in one's bhajan. Srila Rupa Goswami is therefore saying, Saddharma prichha. Inquire about the true dharma, the bona fide dharma in life from a guru. Bhogadi tyagaha krishnasya hetave. Then the sixth is bhoga adi, sense enjoyment, etc. Tyagaha, giving up one's sense enjoyment, etc. Etc. includes all the wealth or property, gradually giving it up. For what? Krishnasya hetave, for Krishna's pleasure. This is the sixth limb. Seventh is nivaso dvarakadau cha gangaderapi sannidhau, and residing in Dwaraka, etc. etc. here means Mathura, Vrindavan, or at the banks of holy rivers such as Ganga, etc. etc. here includes Yamuna, Godavari and so on. So this is the seventh limb of Krishna Bhakti. Residence in these holy places guarantees that one can get association of many sadhus, and thereby one's mind is least disturbed and completely focused on the path of bhajan. So physical residence in such holy places is very much recommended by Srila Rupa Goswami. Now commenting upon the term Bhogadi Tyagah Krishnasya Hetave, Srila Jiva Goswami says, Krishnasya iti Krishna prapteryo hetus tat prasadas tadartham ityartha. So if we take the direct literal meaning of Krishnasya hetave, the direct literal meaning is giving up sense gratification, etc. for Krishna. But Srila Jiva Goswami says, what is the meaning of giving up for Krishna? He says, Krishna prapteryo hetus tat prasadas. So for Krishna means for attaining Krishna. And what is the cause of attaining Krishna? Tat prasadas, the mercy. So Krishnasya hetave means Krishna prasada hetave, which means for attaining the mercy of Krishna or for the pleasure of Krishna. So Krishnasya hetave means for the pleasure of Krishna, for invoking his mercy. Then he says, Krishnarthe bhogadi tyaga iti asya anubadishyamānasyapi Krishna prapaka tat prasadartha ityevartha. He says, asya anubadishyamānasyapi. In future also, Srila Rupa Goswami is going to repeat this term. Krishnarthe bhogadi tyaga. This term will be repeated again. So there also it means Krishna prapaka tat prasadartha. There also in the future when it will be repeated, there also it means for the pleasure of Krishna. Then we can notice the term adi in bhogadi. Adi means etc. So to give up sense enjoyment, etc. What does etc? Jiva Goswami says, adi grahanat, with this etc. Loka vitta putra grihiyante. So loka means one's place of residence. vitta, one's wealth, putra, one's family members such as son, etc., one should gradually give up. For whose pleasure? For Krishna's pleasure. So this is the 7th limb. The 8th limb onwards, Srila Rupa Goswami says, Vyavahareshu sarveshu yavadarthanuvartita harivasara sammano dhatrashvathadi gauravam. It says, Vyavahareshu sarveshu yavadarthanuvartita. Yavad artha, as much is needed for survival. Sarveshu vyavahareshu, in all dealings, in all daily practical behavior. Yavad artha, accepting only what is needed. Yavad arthanuvartita. Because many times there are some individuals who become sadhakas and then they say whatever sense enjoyment I am accepting is yukta vairagya. Srila Rupa Goswami very clearly speaks against this and says yavad arthanuvartita. Accept only that much what we need. Nothing more than that. What we need for which purpose? What we need for survival and what we need for our Krishna seva. For these two purposes, whatever minimum is required, that we should accept. Next he says Harivasara Sammano. 9th is Harivasara Sammano. Sammana means respecting. Respecting what? Harivasara. Vasara means the day of Hari. There are many days of Hari, the most important being Ekadashi. Sometimes a Dwadashi, Mahadwadashi is also a day of Hari. So Ekadashi etc. are considered as the days of Hari. And Dhatri Ashwatha Adi Gauravam. Gauravam, giving importance in life to Dhatri. Dhatri is, there are some trees which are very dear to Krishna. Which are these trees? One is Dhatri. Dhatri is known in Hindi as Amla. Also known in English as Indian gooseberry. And Ashwatha. Ashwatha is known as people tree in Hindi. Its scientific name is Ficus religiosa. And Adi, etc. In etc. what is counted? In etc. for example, these seeds of the lotus plant, that is also very dear to Hari. So all these should be given specific importance. When we see these trees, we should ensure that we keep these trees to our right hand side whenever possible and try to walk by keeping those trees to our right, because that is like performing a parikrama or pradakshina of those trees. We should give some special respect to these trees because these trees are very dear to Lord Krishna. So this is the 10th limb. Moving ahead, Srila Rupa Goswami says, Esham atra dashanganam bhavet prarambha rupata. So these are 10 limbs. Bhavet prarambha rupata. We said these should be considered as introductory limbs to Uttama-Bhakti. The entire discussion is about Uttama-Bhakti. So these 10 should be considered as introductory. And as I said, these are all positive. We must do this, we must do this, we must do this. So these are positive injunctions. Now the next 10 injunctions will be negative injunctions. Do not do this, do not do this, do not do this. So these negative injunctions are also considered as angas or limbs of bhakti. Let's see. He says, Sangatyago vidurena bhagavad vimukhairjanai shishyadyananubandhitvam maharambhadyanudyamah. Srila Rupa Goswami says, 11th is Sangatyago vidurena. Vidurena, from a distance. Sangatyago, giving up the association. Of whom? Bhagavad vimukhairjanair, of those who have turned away from the Lord. So atheists who have no faith in the Lord, from a distance giving up their association. Now in some cases, for example, when one is working, it may not be possible to completely give up such association. But whenever possible, to give up the association of people who have turned away from the Lord. Because by their association, one's mind becomes contaminated. Then he says something very important. Shishya adi anubandhitvam. So not accepting too many unqualified disciples for the sake of increasing one's sampradaya. This is one limb of bhakti. Sometimes devotees think, oh, for the sake of preaching we can accept any number of disciples. But Srila Rupa Goswami has clearly mentioned in Bhakti-rasamrita-sindhu Shishya adi ananubandhitvam. Do not accept unqualified disciples for the sake of increasing the strength of the sampradaya. Please do not accept. This is Srila Rupa Goswami's clear instruction. 13th is Maharambha adi anudyamaha. Anudyamaha. Not accepting Maharambha, huge enterprising ventures. Why? Because somebody thinks this huge enterprising venture I am doing for Krishna and so much money is involved in it and Krishna will be very pleased. The fact is that this huge endeavor will very quickly absorb us in material thought process. We will very quickly start thinking that Kartaham, I am the doer of this entire thing and I am the greatest pleaser of Lord Krishna. Very quickly it will lead us away from what is actual Uttama-Bhakti. Please remember, dear devotees, it's not a problem to make big projects for Krishna, but Srila Rupa Goswami's warning here is very clear that such big projects can very easily deviate our mind away from Uttama-Bhakti. So, this is the 13th limb of Bhakti. So, from 11 to 20 are negative limbs. Next, Srila Rupa Goswami says, Bahu grantha kalabhyasa व्याख्यावाद विवर्जनम व्यावहारेप्यकारपण्यम शोकाद्य वशवर्तिता. So he says Bahu Grantha Kala Abhyasa Vyakhya-Vada. So 4 things. Okay. So Bahu Grantha Kala Abhyasa Vyakhya-Vada. So Abhyasa Vyakhya-Vada. Bahu Grantha Kala Abhyasa Vyakhya-Vada Vivarjanam. Bahu Grantha means studying too many literatures. And which literatures? You can study unlimited number of devotional literatures. But Bahu Grantha means non-devotional literature. Non-devotional literature. And Kala, non-devotional arts. There are many arts which have nothing to do with devotional service. Absolutely nothing to do with devotional service. And which cannot be engaged in one's devotional service. So, Abhyasa, to study these arts and these literature. Vyakhya, to explain these arts or literature. And Vad, to give expert arguments and argue around such non-devotional literature and non-devotional arts. And Vyavaharepi Akarpanyam. 15th is displaying lack of miserliness in one's behavior. So one should not display miserliness in one's behavior. When one is dealing with devotees, when one is dealing with Lord Krishna, no miserliness. Because there are many individuals who think, oh, God is simply bhavagrahi, Bhagavan is bhavagrahi. I will only offer him one small coconut and he will be pleased with me. Srila Rupa Goswami says this is miserliness. If you have capabilities, if we have the capability to offer something opulent, so we should offer something opulent to the Lord. Never display miserliness in one's behavior towards the Lord. Shokadi avashvartita. Avashvartita. Never falling prey to negative emotions. What are the negative emotions? Shoka adi, lamentation, etc. etc. includes anger and various other negativities in life. So these are 14th, 15th and 16th. Next he says, Anya deva navagyacha bhutanudvega dayita sevanama paradhanam udbhava bhava karita. He very clearly says, Anya deva anavagyacha. So not disrespecting other deities. We are worshippers of the Lord Krishna, but Anya deva anavagya. Never disrespect other deities. Other deities, Lord Shiva, Lord Ganesh, Devi, Shakti, many Vedic deities are there. Never disrespect, because there are some individuals who are devotees and who have a separatist mindset, who are thinking, oh Ganesh, demigod. They are thinking like this. So this nonsensical thought should be given up by all the devotees, because it is one of the limbs of Uttama-Bhakti. Anya deva anavagya. Never disrespecting any other deities mentioned in the Shastras. Bhuta anudvegadayita. 18th is not giving any anxiety to other living entities. Through one's body, mind and words, one should try one's best not to give any sort of mental, physical, verbal anxiety to any living entity. And 19th is seva napaparadhanam udbhava abhavakarita. Not allowing abhavakarita, the udbhava, the arising of seva aparadha and nam aparadha. So one should not allow seva aparadhas and nam aparadhas to arise at any time. So while serving the deity of the Lord, there are seva aparadhas. While chanting the names of the Lord, there are nam aparadhas. So one should try one's best to not allow these to rise, which means that they rise again and again. This is clarified by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his commentary, where he says, seva namaparadhanam udbhavah sadhakasya prayo bhavati eva. He says the arising of seva aparadha and nama aparadha usually happens again and again for a sadhak. They arise again and again. Kintu paschat yatnena tesham abhavakarita. But once they arise, then with effort one should try that they should not arise again. One should curb the rising of these nama aparadhas and seva aparadhas. This is the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Next, Srila Rupa Goswami says, Krishna tad bhakta vidvesha vinindadya sahishnuta vyatireka tayamisham dashanam syad anushtitihi. He says, Krishna tad bhakta vidvesha vinindadi asahishnuta. So not tolerating asahishnuta of vininda adi, vidvesha vininda adi, the envy, vidvesha, the vininda, criticism, etc. of whom? Of Krishna and tad bhakta, of Krishna or his devotees. Sometimes some people express direct envy of Krishna. Such people should be immediately challenged and defeated. It is the responsibility of a devotee. Fake humility does not work at that point of time. There are some who say, oh, let anybody criticize, we are devotees of the Lord. So we have been given Shastra Pramana for not tolerating somebody who criticizes Krishna or Krishna's devotees. Recently, I personally saw a particular person saying something about Srila Jiva Goswami. He said, well, I don't care what Jiva Goswami says. He's a Vaishnava. He said, I don't care what Srila Jiva Goswami says. I only care what my Acharya says. But your Acharya is in the disciplic succession of Srila Jiva Goswami. How can you neglect and how can you say such a thing about Jiva Goswami? I don't care what Jiva Goswami says. At that point of time, I have to become angry and I have to tell him, Arey Baba, your entire sampradaya is standing on the backbone created by Jiva Goswami. All the other acharyas in the Gaudiya Vaishnava sampradaya, everybody who has come after the 6 Goswamis, they aspire to be particles of dust at the lotus feet of the 6 Goswamis. No matter how great your acharya is, they are all particles of dust at the lotus feet of the Goswamis. So, never tolerating any offense or any vidvesh or vininda, any envy or any criticism of Krishna or tad bhakta, of Krishna or Krishna's bhakta. Then Srila Rupa Goswami is saying, Vyatireka tayamisham dashanam syad anushtitihi. So these 10 angas, that is 11 to 20, are to be executed as negative injunctions. They are not positive injunctions, they are the opposite, they are negative injunctions. Okay, so moving ahead, Srila Rupa Goswami next says, asyäs tatra pravesaya dvaratve'pyanga vimshate trayam pradhanamevoktam guru padashrayadikam. This is asyäs anga vimshate. So 20 limbs have been described. This asyäs anga vimshate tatra praveshaya dvaratvepi. So these 20 limbs are situated as doorways. These are the doorways for entering into Uttama Bhakti. But in these 20 limbs, Trayam Pradhanam Evoktam. So the first three are Pradhanam, are primary. Which are the first three? Guru Padashrayadikam, beginning with Guru Padashraya. So the first three were Guru Padashraya, accepting the shelter of the feet of a Guru. Tasmat Krishna Dikshadi Shikshanam, then to accept Diksha, initiation, and through that Diksha accepting Shiksha. And Vishrambhena Guru Seva, and to serve the Guru personally with confidence. So these three, Srila Rupa Goswami says, these are the primary three limbs amongst the 20 that have been described till now. Moving ahead, Srila Rupa Goswami says, Dhritir Vaishnava Chinnanam Harer Namaksharasya Cha Nirmalyadescha Tasyagre Tandavam Dandavannatihi. So next is 21st. Dhritir, acceptance, Vaishnava Chinnanam. We should accept the Chinna, the symbols of a Vaishnava. What are the symbols of a Vaishnava? The symbols of a Vaishnava are Tulsi Mala, wearing beads of Tulsi around one's neck. Then another symbol is Tilak. So these are Dhriti, acceptance of Vaishnava Chinna, of the symbols of a Vaishnava. This is 21st. 22nd, Harer Namaksharasya Cha, acceptance of the syllables of the names of Hari. Nama Akshara. So on our body sometimes we should paint or we should stamp the syllables of the names of Lord Hari. So for example, some devotees have a stamp of Hare Krishna and so on and so forth. So that should be stamped on the body. That is a separate limb of Bhakti. 23rd is Nirmalyadescha. Nirmalyadescha, this goes with Dhritir in the first line. So acceptance of Nirmalya. Nirmalya is remnant deity flowers. So wearing that garland offered to the deity. This is the 23rd limb of Uttama Bhakti. Tasyagre Tandavam, and Tasya means Bhagavatah, in front of the deity of the Lord. Agre Tandavam, dancing in front of the deity, dancing as if nobody is watching. This is the 24th limb. Dandavannatihi, and offering prostrated obeisances in front of the deity. Dandavat means offering with one's 8 limbs. These 8 limbs are described in Hari Bhakti Vilas. Dorbhyam Padbhyam Cha Janubhyam Urasa Shirasa Drisha Vachasa Manasa Cheti Pranamoštanga Iryate. So this is 25th, offering of prostrated obeisances to the deity. Next, Srila Rupa Goswami says, Abhyutthanam Anuvrajya Gati Sthane Parikramah Archanam Paricharya Cha Geetam Sankirtanam Japah. So then 26 onwards, he says 26th is Abhyutthanam, immediately getting up. When to get up? When we see a procession of the Lord is arriving in a procession, at that time Abhyutthanam, or if the Guru is arriving, Abhyutthanam, immediately getting up. Anuvrajya, and when the deity is going in a procession, to walk behind that procession is a separate limb. When the Guru is walking, to walk behind the Guru. So this is a separate limb, Anuvrajya, 27th limb, to walk behind a deity procession or to walk behind the Guru. Gatihi Sthane, Sthane, to an abode of the Lord, which means to a holy place of the Lord. Gatihi, to walk to a holy place. Previously they used to walk to holy places. Nowadays we fly to holy places or we take a train. But Gatihi literally means to walk to that holy place. Parikramaha, 29th is circumambulation of the deity of the Lord, circumambulation of the temple of the Lord. This is called as parikrama. Parittaha kramanam. Parittaha kramanam means to completely circumambulate. So parikramaha, this is 29th. 30th is archanam and 31st is paricharya. They both sound synonymous. There is a slight difference between archanam and paricharya. Archanam refers to offering preliminary worship. For those of us who are aware of deity worship, there is something called as preliminary preparation, bhutanyas, and Bhuta Shuddhi, Nyas, etc. So these are preliminary preparations. They are categorized as Archanam, and to actually offer the various items of worship such as Dhupa, Deepa. So these are known as Paricharya. So serving the Lord as a king by offering Dhupa, Deepa, Chamar, this is Paricharya, and initial preparations in the form of Bhuta Shuddhi, Nyasa, etc. This is known as Archanam. So Archanam is limb number 30, Paricharya is limb number 31. And Geetam, 32nd is Geetam, to sing songs for the Lord, to sing various songs for the Lord. So Geetam, this is limb number 30. There are many songs such as the Jayadev's Geet Govind, who one should sing for the Lord. So this is Geetam. Then 33rd is Sankirtanam. Sankirtanam means congregational chanting, loudly singing the names, pastimes, etc. of the Lord. This is 33rd. 34th is Japah. Japah is solitary chanting in a super soft tone, Upamshu. Super soft tone, only one should be able to hear oneself. That is called as Japah. So this Japah is limb number 34. Moving ahead, Srila Rupa Goswami says, Vigyapti stava pathascha svado naivedya padyayoh dhupa malyadi saurabhyam Shri Murte Sprishtirikṣanam. So Srila Rupa Goswami says 35th is Vigyapti. What is Vigyapti? Offering heartfelt prayers to the Lord. Sometimes some devotees only memorize existing prayers composed by the previous great devotees, but they don't compose anything of their own. They don't offer any heartfelt prayers of their own. So Vigyapti means composing heartfelt prayers, offering heartfelt prayers to the Lord. Those prayers should be composed by us, and those prayers should adhere to the standard of Uttama-Bhakti. That is Vigyapti. And Stava Pathascha, and Stava Path 36th is offering select verses, stavas which have been composed by previous great devotees. That is Stava Path. So Vigyapti is personal heartfelt prayers, Stava Path is existing prayers composed by great devotees. So this is 35th and 36th. Then Swado, tasting, Naivedya. Naivedya means some foodstuffs offered to the Lord. So Naivedya is of 4 types. Chaturvidha Shri Bhagavat Prasad. Bhaksha, Bhojya, Leya, Choshya. The 4 types of prasad is offered to the Lord. 4 types of bhoga is offered to the Lord. It becomes Naivedya. So Naivedya Aswada. Swado Naivedya. To taste the remnants of the Lord. And Padyayoho. The next is, that is 38th is Padyayo. To taste the water offered to the Lord. And that water is known as Charanamrita. So that is a separate limb. 39th is Dhupa Malya Adi Saurabhyam. Saurabhyam means experience of the fragrance, of the aroma, of dhupa, of incense, of malya, of a garland. See, wearing a garland was previously a separate limb, a separate anga, and now experiencing the fragrance of the garland is a separate limb. So this experience of fragrance is a separate limb, and this implies one thing, that bhakti or devotional service does not deny any senses. Experience of all senses is included within the practice of devotional service or bhakti. So the sense of smell is automatically engaged by dhupa and malya, by smelling incense, by smelling the fragrance of the garlands offered to the Lord. And next is Shri Murte Sprishtir. So if somebody is second initiated, somebody can directly touch, sprishti, directly touching the deity of the Lord. And Ikshanam means darshan. If one cannot directly touch, at least one can have darshan of the Lord. So this is limb number 41. Next, Srila Rupa Goswami says, Aratrikotsavadescha Shravanam tat kripekshanam Smritir dhyanam tatha dasyam Sakhyamatmani Vedanam. Srila Rupa Goswami says 42nd is Aratrikotsavadescha. So one should observe festivals. Which festivals? Aratri and other festivals of the Utsav. So Arati is also in itself an Utsav. Arati itself is a festival, but other festivals also one should observe. So Arati is many times in the day. One should observe that and one should have a look at that. And 43rd is Shravanam. Shravanam is something which has many subcategories. Shravanam is Naam Shravan, hearing the names. Gun Shravan, hearing the qualities of the Lord. Leela Shravan, hearing the pastimes of the Lord. But as I said previously, Rupa Goswami has said some limbs include various sublimbs. So Shravanam is one such limb which includes various sublimbs inside it. So Shravanam, that is hearing of names, pastimes, etc. of the Lord. 44th is Tat Kripa Ikshanam. Tat Kripekshanam. Ikshanam means to always wait for, or to always keep an eye out for Tat Kripa, for the mercy of the Lord. So that is to always look forward to receiving the mercy of the Lord. 45th is Smriti. Smriti is Smaran. Smaran means any general Smaran, anything which one can very easily remember. Of course, it should be from Shastra. One should not remember something which is from one's mental speculation. For example, orange colored Krishna. That is not Smriti. Smriti is something which is based on Shastra. So Shastra, Smaran, Smriti, general remembrance from Shastra. And Dhyanam. Dhyanam is concentrated remembrance on a specific pastime. So that is a separate limb. Smaran, Smriti is a separate limb and Dhyanam is a separate limb. These are 45 and 46. Tatha Dasyam. Dasyam means surrendering all activities to the Lord and acting as his servant. This is Dasyam. The mood of Shri Hanuman. That is Dasyam. And Sakhyam. Sakhyam means considering the Lord as a friend. Is the mood of Arjuna. And Atma Nivedanam. Atma Nivedanam means offering one's entire self to the Lord. The mood of Maharaj Bali. So all these moods should be cultivated towards the Lord. These are separate limbs of Uttama-Bhakti. Moving ahead, Srila Rupa Goswami says, nija-priyopaharanam tadarthe khila cheshtitam sarvatha sharanapattis tadiyanam cha sevanam. Rupa Goswami says 50th is nija-priyopaharanam. Upaharanam is upahar, giving a gift of nija-priya, what is dear to oneself. Many times we give a gift to something which we don't like. In human society, sometimes people just keep on passing gifts because they don't like those gifts. So those are not the gifts which one should give to the Supreme Lord. Nija-priya, something which we like, something which we will feel a loss on losing. That is nija-priya, upaharanam. So giving it to the Lord, becoming happy by giving it to the Lord, not giving it in a grudging manner, but to give it and become happy. Nija-priya upaharanam. And tad arthe akhila cheshtitam. Akhila cheshtitam tad arthe. All of one's activities for the Lord. So this is to offer one's body, mind, words, all the activities through that. Yat karoshi yad ashnashi yad juhoshi dadasi. This is Bhagavad Gita. Krishna himself says, Yat karoshi. Whatever you do, tat kurushva madarpanam. That you do as an offering unto me. So tadarthe akhila cheshtitam. So this is 51st. 52nd is sarvatha sharanapattis. In all ways becoming fully surrendered to the Lord. So in all ways accepting sharanagati or complete surrender to the Lord. There are 6 limbs of surrender, but in all ways developing those 6 limbs of sharanagati or sharanapatti. And tadiyanam cha sevanam. Tadiya means that which belongs to him. Belongs to whom? Belongs to the Lord. Tadiyanam cha sevanam. Service of any entity which belongs to the Lord. Such as Tulsi. Tulsi is one living entity which belongs to the Lord. So service of Tulsi. So service of any entity which belongs to the Lord. But there are so many millions of entities. So first is Tulsi, and then there are more entities which belong to the Lord. Rupa Goswami says, Tadiyas Tulsi Shastra Madhura Vaishnavadayah Yatha Vaibhava Samagri Sadgoshti Vir Mahotsavah. The Tadiyas, amongst all the entities that belong to the Lord, the primary are Tulsi, the Tulsi tree. Second is Shastra. Shastra means devotional literature, Srimad Bhagavatam especially. So service of Srimad Bhagavatam, service of devotional literature. This is Tadiya Seva. So many individuals don't care for Shastra. How do we serve Shastra? We serve Shastra by reading it, understanding it, discussing it, propagating it. This is Shastra Seva. And Mathura. Mathura is also Tadiya. Mathura is the abode of the Lord. It is an entity which belongs to the Lord. And Vaishnava. Vaishnavas are also entities who belong to the Lord. Adaya, etc. There are many other entities which belong to the Lord. For example, temple. So Adaya, Adi includes the temple, etc. So service to all these entities who belong to the Lord. So this is 54th, 55th and 56th. Besides this, Yatha Vaibhava Samagri and Sadgoshti Vir Mahotsava. So Yatha Vaibhava Samagri. So according to one's financial means, Sadgoshti Vir Mahotsava, Sadgoshti Vir. So organizing big festivals, organizing kathas, organizing goshtis. So this is, the limb number 57 of Uttama-Bhakti. Next, Srila Rupa Goswami says, Urjadaro Visheshena Yatra Janma Dinadishu Shraddha Visheshatah Pritihi Shri Murte Rangri Sevane. So he says Urja Adaro. Urja Vrata is Kartik Vrata. Urja Adara, respecting specifically, Visheshana, expressing special respect towards Urja Vrata or Kartik Vrata or the vow of Kartika. And 59th is Yatra Janma Dinadishu, observing Utsav Yatra, carrying out an Utsav Yatra on Janma Dina, on the appearance days of the Lord. Shraddha and Visheshatah Priti. Shraddha means exhibiting genuine faith, and Visheshatah Priti, genuine love. Shri Murter Angri Sevane, in serving the feet of the deity of the Lord. This is limb number 60. Now we will see this limb number 60, serving the deity, was previously mentioned as Archan and Paricharya. Once again it is being repeated. So 60 onwards to 64 are repeated limbs. The question may arise, why are you repeating limbs, Srila Rupa Goswami? You should have given distinct limbs. Otherwise just give 59 limbs. Why repeat from 60 to 64? So Srila Rupa Goswami will also specify that later. But I wish to say at this point of time that 60, 61, 62, 63 and 64 are limbs which have been previously mentioned and they are being repeated here again. So Shri Murte Rangri Sevane Shraddha Visheshatah Pritir. So faith and dedicated love towards service of the deity. This is limb number 60 which was spoken previously. And Srila Rupa Goswami says, Shrimad Bhagavatarthanam Asvado Rasikaihi Saha Sajati Ashaye Snigdhe Sadhau Sangah Svatovare. Rupa Goswami says 61st is Shrimad Bhagavatarthanam Asvado, to relishment of Shrimad Bhagavatarthanam, the various meanings of Shrimad Bhagavatam. With whom? Rasikai Saha, with a devotee who knows how to relish ras. There are many who have no idea of how to relish ras. So with a devotee who knows how to extract the various expert meanings from the Srimad Bhagavatam, to sit down with such a devotee and to relish the various meanings of Srimad Bhagavatam. I will give an example of how one relishes the various meanings of Srimad Bhagavatam. For example, there is a pastime in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam when Krishna enters for the first time into the forest of Vrindavan in the spring season. When Krishna enters for the first time in the forest of Vrindavan, at that point of time, the trees bend down and offer fruits to the Lord. They voluntarily bend down and offer fruits to the Lord. At that time, a Rasik devotee, his name is Sri Harisuri, he offers a beautiful realization. He says, how fortunate are these trees? These trees are very fortunate. They have become very humble. But what is the reason that they have become very humble and bent down to offer the fruit of their life to the Lord? The reason is, he says, Satata Vipra Sangha. They are constantly associating with the twice born. Now one may think, how can a tree constantly associate with the twice born? Because twice born means Brahmana. But dear devotees, Twice born also means a bird, because a bird takes birth twice. Once it comes out from the stomach of its mother, and second time it hatches through the egg. So the another meaning of twice born is bird. So Hari Suri says, since the trees have had the constant association of the twice born, they have become so learned and humble that they are voluntarily offering the fruits of their life to the Lord. So dear devotees, this is aswadam. This is relishing the various meanings of Srimad Bhagavatam with rasikas, with the great connoisseur devotees. Sajatiya ashaye snigdhe sadhu sangha swato vare. So Sajatiya ashaya snigdha, association of those saintly souls, sadhu sangha, who are Sajatiya ashaya, who have the same aspirations as us. Sometimes we start associating with any devotee and they don't have the same aspirations as us, and then the association doesn't turn out to be so tasteful. Well, Rupa Goswami says, Sajatiya ashaya, they should have the same aspirations as us. And Swato vare, and they should be senior to us. Of course, we can also associate with those who are equal to us, but ideal association is to gain something from that association by associating with somebody who is senior to us. This is 62nd. So 61st was also mentioned previously, because previously there was a mention of Shastra Seva, Stadiyanam Sevanam, serving what is related to the Lord. So this was also mentioned previously. 62nd is association of saintly souls who are senior to us. So Vaishnav Seva was also mentioned previously. So Sadhu Sangha and Srimad Bhagavatam and DT service, they have been mentioned previously. And the final two, he says, Nama Sankirtanam Shriman Mathura Mandale Sthitihi. He says, Nama Sankirtanam, congregational chanting of the names of the Lord. Sankirtanam was previously mentioned separately. Now he is mentioning Nam Sankirtanam, a sub-limb of Sankirtan here. He is saying Nama Sankirtanam. He is again mentioning the limb. And Mathura Mandale Sthiti, acceptance of residence in Mathura Mandal. Previously it was said Dwarakadau cha Sannidham. So one should accept residence in Dwaraka, etc. So now he is again saying Mathura Mandale Sthiti. He is residing in a holy place like Mathura Mandal. Specifically he is saying Mathura Mandal. So this is the 64th and final limb of Sadhana-bhakti as described by Srila Rupa Goswami. Moving ahead, Srila Rupa Goswami acknowledges Anganam panchakasyasya purvam vilikhitasya cha nikhila shraishtya bodhaya punarapyatra kirtanam. He says Anganam panchakasya asya is repetition of these 5 limbs, purvam vilikhitasya cha, which have been mentioned previously. For what purpose have I done that? Nikhila shraishtya bodhaya punarapi atra kirtanam, to show that they are so superior that they have been given a place twice in the same list, to show their superiority over all the other limbs. Because Rupa Goswami could have added any of the other limbs from Hari Bhakti Vilas, any other limbs. But Rupa Goswami specifically repeated 5 limbs in order to show that these 5 are so superior that they deserve to be mentioned twice in the list of 64 limbs of Uttama Bhakti, to demonstrate their superiority over all the other limbs. So these dear devotees are the 64 limbs. Rupa Goswami concludes by saying, Iti kaya rishikantah karananam upasana chatushashti prithak sangha tika bhedat kramadina. Rupa Goswami says these 64 angas, the 64 limbs are ways of offering worship, upasana. Through what? Through kaya, rishika, anta karananam. Through one's body, senses, mind, inner consciousness. And chatushashti, these are 64. And bhedat, they are categorized into 2. Prithak and sanghatika. Sanghatika means collective. For example, I said Smaranam is a Sanghatika. It includes various Nama Smaran, Guna Smaran, Rupa Smaran. So that is Sanghatika, collective limb. And Prithak means lone limbs, alone limbs which cannot be further divided, atomic limbs. So these are all these limbs, 64, are categorized into these 2. So these are the 64 limbs, dear devotees of Uttama Bhakti. I would like to conclude by a statement from Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada says, hearing the glories of the Lord, chanting, remembering, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering worship in the temple, offering prayers, becoming a servant, becoming the Lord's friend, and sarvatma nivedanam, offering oneself fully at the lotus feet of the Lord. These are the 9 devotional processes. In the nectar of devotion, that is Bhakti-rasamrita-sindhu, these are expanded into 64 items. So what we saw as 64 are nothing but an expansion of the 9 limbs of Bhakti, Navadha Bhakti, which are mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the conclusion given by Srila Prabhupada in his purport to Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 6th chapter, verse number 241. Thank you very much, dear devotees, for kindly and patiently listening to this explanation of the 64 limbs of Uttama Bhakti. Hare Krishna.